Okay, today we will talk about optimizing and plan for the site survey and geotechnical survey for jackup and semi-submersible rigs. This has been done recently, and then we shall go forward for this. Next slide. Okay, this is my presentation. So first of all, we do the introduction. Basically, it's a requirement why we need to do the survey. That is for the rigs have get a location approval to obtain a location approval, so the underwriters can insure the location as well as the rig and the assets. The second one is after that we go into the marine site investigations and see what are required to have that location approvals. And number three, the third one would be the optimizing whatever data that you gathered from the site investigation, from the record, from the rigs, and so on. We optimize it and up to date that data for further future reference and future well program. And the last one will be my conclusion to this presentations. Okay, next slide. Okay, the introductions, basically we need to know what are the regulating or the guidelines that we have that they are approved by the underwriters as well as in the industry practice that we have. If you look from, it was evolved actually from way back in 1996 or 1997. If you look from the right to the left, so they have a guideline from the UK OOA that is about the safe movement of self-elevating offshore installation, jackup, and then evolved into IOGP. They got two IOGP 37318-1 and 37318-2. There are two volumes. I think way back, this is the recent one, 2015 and 2017. And recently, late last year, the industry have the ISO for the marine site investigations that is now is in effect, basically. So what are these regulation or this regulation of code of conduct and guidelines for? The objective basically is to know the location, where are the limits of the environment to have a safe installations of the unit. That's the first one. The second one is find the properties of the seabed and subsoil for safe stationing and installation of the unit. And of course, from there, then we'll separate that into our evaluations on the site, very specific, whether it's open or platform locations. Next slide. Okay, for marine site investigations, taken this one from IOGP 37318-1. You see the flow charts there. Maybe you can't see very much, but they will be basically be divided into what kind of rig. Is an anchor rigs or DP rigs that doesn't need much of the data. And then on the left side is bottom-founded rigs that need a lot of data. I think this one is self-explanatory. You can read there. Basically to know where, when to do the investigation, site investigation, and what kind of data are required, what are to study, and what are the evaluations going to be acceptable. So before that, we need to do the pre-move planning. Basically, you should have present data, or maybe you have the operators have the old data and check whether it's still relevant or need to be updated and see whether any validity on that data. How much data required, the survey coverage, And also the operators usually keep also the historical rig move records. And as well, the requirements for having the weather criteria and environmental conditions. This is very important to see whether the survey can be done during that period of time in the year. And then the next one would be type of survey required to obtain the location approval that is given in this IOGP as well. Important to note is the time frame to do the survey, whether you got enough time to do the survey, and limiting criteria with tie in together with the weather criteria and environmental conditions. And of course, the time frame also, sometimes you have the installations on site. So you may probably want to tie in your survey together with any maybe platform installation or pipeline installations. So you can save some costs, and the objective would be still sufficient to do for the investigations. How about the soil conditions? Go to the next slide. The next slide will talk about the marine site investigation. Depending on the soil condition, this is given by the marine site investigation or the soil geotechnical survey. Back again, they also talking about depending on the anchor or DP rigs or bottom founded rig, because the soil conditions require the depth, all this totally different. So from this marine site investigation, we go down to divide it into geotechnical, geophysical, and other investigation. And we are concentrating on the marine soil investigation at the bottom left. And inside this document also will provide you with the how many boreholes and how much what is the termination depth that you should obtain to get for the rigs. So and then sometimes they also see the validity of the soil information, whether it's still valid or not, but most of the time it's still valid for a long time. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a marine site investigation. From the DAC documents, the ISO 19905-1 in 2016, and the Annex D that will provide you with the number of boreholes required. That basically is to know whether geologically the area is sound, or whether that a lot of boulders, or maybe there's a lot of grass and so on. So this Annex D will provide you how many boreholes required for a jackup rigs. Okay, so look at this ISO 19905-1 2016E. Next slide. Now go to the third topic, is how do we optimize if you already have all those data. So collate all data and update them in the form of a rig move operations package. So this is important, the rig move operation package or informations, usually divided by the jackup type, by the rig type. Is a jackup or floaters. So for a jackup rig at an open location, all the conventional survey requirements shall be followed as per ISO or the IOGP documents that mentioned before. So those are straightforward. And then if if the rig is going to the platform locations, then we will have the supplement requirements for the survey. That also need to be divided into whether the rig is going to revisit or a new visit to the platforms. Okay, so rig revisit, usually if they are the same rig, then they usually go to the same heading approach. Or if it's not the same rig type that going to the platform, they may probably want to avoid the footprints. So so that there is much less risk to slide into the hole. Okay, next slide. This is a typical data that I've been collecting. The left side is at the platform locations where the rigs, the incoming rigs is the same type as what has been visited the platform before. So they just slot in, going into the same footprint. So that is very easy. So this is also documented. On the right side is rig revisit, not the same heading, because the incoming rig is not the same type. So they try to avoid. So we plan to have the visit for the rig in the different headings. Okay. So the requirements of the survey coverage and so on, so will be slightly bigger, wider. Okay, next slide. Okay, what is as we talking about what is on the rig move information document? So this is a typical content of the rig move information documents. We have the general information first, rig name, operation, to platform or open location, and I got proposed move, where to propose move. Survey operation, then you have a survey contractor, positioning system, survey team, all are documented there. Also the weather, what is the weather impacted to the rig move to the location? So those are recorded historically. Information condition at the departure and arrival condition when the rig moved from point A to point B. So we also documented the platform name, the site name, block, field operators, also the previous checkup rig activities. That would be the name of the rigs, how was it set up, the rig heading, the final rig penetrations, any issue with punch through or any sliding, and the time that taken to be set on the rig on the platforms. Of course, we have the site condition, the bathymetry, the water depth described in the seabed elevations. Seabed features, you got the pipeline, non-man-made features, geological features. So all these features are impacted to the rig installations. Okay, how these things impacted to the rig installation. So those are been documented in this rig move information documents. Okay, next slide. The next one will be also included there with the proposed towing route that has been taken from point A to point B. Any historical data or move information previously done that so they also have all. Maybe the platform is quite often visited by the rig, so all those numbers are all documented there. At setup location, similar to the above, with addition of anchoring and anchoring setup and catenary information. If there need to be the rig need to anchor. So of course, they have the updated platform photos where the rig approach and the site elevations of the platforms. Photos of the platform photos is very important to the rig approach. So to see any obstructions that coming in. Most important also the well slots plan view of in the platforms. So make sure the rig can reach to the well slot. All charts including tow route passing through the field, bathymetry, seabed features with table of possible debris, all are recorded in the previous rig visit with also the penetrations. Okay. Next one. Okay, this is just a typical charts that I think we can't see much here. This is the vicinity diagram where where the platforms, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 pipelines. So quite complicated here. Next slide. This is the rig position, proposed rig position. So they have a soft pin position on the southeast, about maybe 150 meters away. And then move in, go to the platform sideways because of the footprints made by other rigs, not the same as this rig. So it's unmatched spot can spread. Okay, next one. Next. This is just a zoom. Sorry, this is just a zoom on the rig approach. So there is actually, you can see the distance, clear distance between the rig and the platforms. Okay, next. This is anchor patterns. Okay, next. This is the slot, well slot, same thing. Next. Okay, this is very important to see the previous footprint from the rig visit. So you can see those green holes, green circles those are footprints that is made before. It's written the rig that coming in with the date as well as the penetrations. Okay. Next. Okay, these are the conclusions. So very simple, by keeping updated data, so you would be having very efficiently to plan for the site investigation for the next future site investigations. Important is the feedback and communication with the operators after the rig move to fit into the survey people. So that would be good to update it. Keep track on the debris found and left behind on the and wet store. So sometimes you go to the platforms today, but then 1 month later you see they're still there. You know, those debris. You know, so. Okay, number 4 is for platform survey, it is recommended to have the analog and ROV survey to remove the debris. Ultimately, the ROV survey with capability to remove the debris is highly recommended. So we still need the ROV survey to remove the debris just in case there's a debris. Okay, I think that's it. No others. That's all I have. Okay, this one just taken from the old platform. We got 143 debris object. This is the old platforms. When we do the debris, we got 143 debris. And next slide, the last slide. And we found that there is one corals right at the back, at the front on the rigs. It's only about 5 meters distance, but we managed to go to the platforms. Okay, that's it. Thank you.